It's easy to get into the top 1% of people your age. All you need to do is look around and realize that everyone's playing video games, partying, doing drugs, etc. And to be honest, if you're not in the top 1% of teenagers at this point, what are you doing with your life? So in today's video, I'm gonna teach you these simple habits you can do to become better than 99% of the people your age. And this video isn't me trying to lie and say I'm a top 1% man at all, because I still have a very, very long journey ahead of me till I get to that point. I would just say relative to my age, I'm probably in the top 10 to top 1% of 15-year-olds. So that's why I'm gonna try and give you my best advice on how you can improve and get to that point. And the first habit that's gonna get you into the top 1% of teenagers is not partying. I know some of my audience is younger, like 12 to 13, and the people around them probably aren't having many parties or anything like that. But it's good to know for future reference that if you party, you will be like 99% of people. You will not get into the top 1% by wasting time partying and doing drugs and doing the bad habits that people at parties do. So you need to keep in mind, as much as you might have the FOMO, you know, the fear of missing out and being like, oh shoot, but like everyone's partying and they look like they're having such a good time. I promise you it's a fucking lie, bro. You know, they're on their phones and they're taking, oh, look at all these bitches, oh, I'm drinking this, like, I promise you that's not what the party actually looks like. The party looks like that for the 1 second everyone's taking their Snapchat stories. Like, I swear they have a little pep rally. Like, alright guys, we're all gonna take a fucking Snapchat story, an Instagram story. I want people to be jealous because that's, you know, it's the natural human tendency. You want other people to think that like, oh, he's having fun and I'm not having fun, so like, oh, he must be a fun. But I promise you, bro, this is what happens. Everyone's partying, whoa, music, and then they're just like, sat on their phone. Drinking, sat on their phone. Bad habits. People are getting in fights. Like, it's just a fucking stupid environment. And if you go into that environment, you will be stupid as well. So realize that to beat most people your age, just don't go to parties. Don't be in that degenerate, terrible environment. Because I promise you, once you go to these parties, you'll just be sat there thinking like, I probably wish I was home right now. And then there's the bad environment. You're getting influenced by these people, their beliefs, the shitty music, like all these little things, but just don't party. I promise you it's not worth it. The next habit that's guaranteed to get you into the top 1% of teenagers is not playing video games. And I know someone's gonna say, but Adam, what about 1 hour on the weekend? Just 1 hour. No, this video isn't some, oh, it's okay to play 1 hour on the weekend. This is, I'm talking about top 1% here. I'm not talking about you want to be in top 10, top 15, okay, maybe 1 hour per week will get you into there. I'm talking about if you want to make more money, get more girls, then the people your age, 0 video games, not a fucking hour, not 30 minutes, 0. And you might think this is too strict and you might not want to do that. If you're not okay with doing these things, then you also need to come to the reality that you need to be okay with not being in the top 1%. And that might be okay for you. And the trade-off of playing 1 hour video games on the weekend might not be worth being in the top 1% of having more money and having more girls and stuff. But in my personal opinion, I would say the 1 hour isn't worth the upside you get from not playing it at all. Now, the next step to get into the top 1% of teenagers is to not do what the other 99% do. Now, this seems like such common sense, but yet you've probably been influenced in a way that might sound like this. Why aren't you normal? Why don't you just act normal? Why don't you just do normal things? And I brought up an example to my friend the other day, which is a normal life, dies at 76 to 82, is an alcoholic, is divorced, isn't happy, which again, like, I don't really like to throw around that word happiness because it's different for everyone and stuff, but like, isn't happy, and all these bad things, isn't financially successful, in debt, like all of these fucking shits. Like, this is what a normal person is. So you should say thank you when someone says you aren't normal. When one of your friends is like, bro, why aren't you normal? Why be like, fuck, bro. Yeah, of course I'm not normal. The normal life is someone who plays video games, isn't happy, has debt, doesn't have money. I don't want to live a fucking normal life. I want to be abnormal. I want to be the guy who's in the top 1%. I want to be the guy who gets 99% of the stuff, because top 1% gets most of the prizes and most of the winnings. So this means don't hold beliefs that 99% of people hold. Don't do things that 99% of people do. If you want the easiest fast track to get into the top 1% of people, look at 99% of people and realize that all you need to do to get into the top 1% is not do what they're doing and just do what the top 1% is doing. So if you're looking at everyone and you're like, fuck, everyone's playing video games, everyone's partying, everyone's drinking, you're not gonna get into the top 1% doing those things, because if you were, they would be in the top 1% too. So in order to be in the top 1%, you need to not hold their beliefs. So if they have beliefs about certain things, about like politics or something, which like, don't get into fights, but it's so stupid, but like, you know, say they have those views, you need to have opposing views. And I'm not saying you need to fight with people, but like, if 99% of people hold a view, in order to be into the top 1%, you need to have a different view than them. Otherwise, you're just with the herd, you're just with the other people, you're just believing what everyone's believing. The last habit to get into the top 1% of teenagers is to become a student forever. This means that you're constantly learning, you're constantly trying to improve, you're constantly watching podcasts, reading books, forever. This means you're never going to get to a point, even when you might be in the top 1% and you think that you have all the things that you want. You need to always sharpen your tools, because even when you're getting to the point where you start making more money, you start getting more girls, and then you just get complacent, you stop learning, you stop trying to improve because you're like, wow, I've learned enough to get good and I've learned enough to get the things I want. But what's actually going to happen is you're going to start to go down. You're going to start to go down more because there's other challenges that are going to come up to maintain where you're at and even to grow a little bit that you're not going to know because you're not going to be a student. So if you want to get past 99% of teenagers, you need to always learn. If you just spend the free time that most of your friends are playing video games and stuff, you will beat them all. And I promise you all. Like, say right now, okay, you have maths class, right? Once you are done, whatever you have to do, like say you're working on computers or something, you know, depending on what school you're at and like what they allow you to do, most guys are gonna go, oh shit, I'm done my work. All right, video game. They'll half-ass do their work and then video games, playing the little drifting game. Like that's the shit I used to do. Bro, if you wanna get past them, literally just open up a new tab and Dr. Andrew Huberman podcast, Tim Ferriss podcast, Diary of a CEO. Watch these fucking podcasts, bro, and you'll just beat everyone. You'll be so intelligent. People are just gonna be like, how the fuck is this kid so intelligent? Because you're always learning. People sometimes tell me, they're like, what type of genetics do you have that make you so much smarter? Like, shut the fuck up, bro. It's because I literally spend all of my free time learning, watching podcasts, reading books. Like, that's literally all I do. Like, I just spend my free time always learning. And if you want people to call you smart, if you want people to call you intelligent, if you want people to do that, you just need to constantly be a student. And don't do it for other people. Yeah, that's a bonus, but don't do it so that you can get this validation from other people calling you smart and calling you so cool because you know so much. Let's be real. It might probably not happen for a while until you get the social skills to speak to people and they start to realize that. But like, don't do it for that. Do it because constantly being a student, make sure you maintain that top 1% position and make sure that you constantly improve and you stay in the top 1% once you leave teenagers, because there's a whole different ball game. We're not talking about top 1% of 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. That's a whole different game. That's a whole different habits that you need to do. We're talking about top 1% of teenagers, which is like, it's the junior league, bro. This shit's easy. If you're not in the top 1%, bro, like seriously, what are you doing? Because it's just so easy. Like, it's so fucking easy nowadays because of how bad everyone's habits are. Most people spend 8 hours a day on TikTok. 1 hour a day on TikTok is even bad. That will make sure you guarantee a position in the bottom 99% of people. So it's really, really easy. And to make sure, which I can't say from personal experience because I'm only 15 years old, but to make sure, for my assumption, that you stay in the top 1%, you need to constantly learn and you'll maintain that position. And you might need to work a little harder and stuff, but like, constantly learn, constantly improve. And although these things might put you past most young guys, it doesn't mean that you should look down on others and be like, I'm in the top 1% and you guys are all... That's not what we're talking about. If you really want to be in the top 1%, you need to have the humility to just think you're not above people. You are in terms of you're actually above people, but you don't need to sit there and act almighty and it's not necessary. And if anything, it's gonna get you in more fights, it's gonna distract you, and it's just not gonna be worth it to be like, I'm in the top 1%. Your friends are gonna be like, haha, bro, shut the fuck up, like, come play video games. Like, it's just gonna make things worse if you sit there and act like you're all this high mighty guy because you do all these habits. Go down right now and click on the subscribe and post notification button. It helps us both out, and click on these videos to watch more. Be a doer, not a thinker. See ya.